So how are we? How does the panel get? How do you narrow the initial set of judges?
In all honesty, Kaika, that depends on which body and which events. Let me be transparently clear and as systematic as it can be,
Good.
having judged as much as
Pretend
I've done.
I'm a 5-year-old who doesn't understand any of this.
If we talk about the World Dance Council, we run granted title events, which I think is what people would refer to, like World Championships, European Championships, Ballroom, Latin, 10 dance, whatever. Invitations go out from the executive board of the Dance Sport Committee, or the Competition Dance Committee as it's known now. Invitations go out to the member countries. If there are 11 judges, invitations go out to 11 member countries. There are certain rules about that. For example, you have to, if it's World Championship, for example, you have to have 3 continents. Now, the executive board of the Competition Dance Sport Committee is made up of about, I can't remember, maybe 10 or 12 people, 2 of whom are competitors. But they don't select judges. When it comes to selection of judges, they keep quiet.
Okay.
And actually, the executive board of the Competition Dance Committee does not select the names. Excuse me. They select the countries. So, for example, they'll select, the country of America. And then the Competition Dance Secretary, Nicole Hansen, she'll write to the NDCA in the case of America.
Oh, so the governing organization for that country.
Yes, the member body for that country. Okay, we've got 60 odd member countries. So they'll write to that country and say, the World Championship is in planet Saturn on the 28th of December. Could you please nominate your adjudicator? They have to nominate their adjudicator in accordance with the rule. The rules are varied, online, so that everybody can see them, very transparent. And then they have to meet certain criteria of having been at a certain level themselves. If they don't, if you've got a Nina Hunt in the old days, or a Ruth Vermey or whoever, they can submit a CV.
Just so people know, they were not champions. Was that why?
Yeah, that's right. No, they weren't.
But these are famous.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, there are a lot of Blackpool judges before my time and up until the current day who have not been champions at Blackpool,
but have coached, really produced champions,
produced great dancing,
which certainly qualifies.
Or were great dancers and never danced Blackpool. Okay. For example, Walter Laird, who wrote the book, never danced Blackpool.
Oh, really?
Never danced it.
Interesting.
He wouldn't dance it.
Well,
he got into a dispute with them, actually.
Would you say he would be qualified, though, to?
Just a tad.
Just a tad.
Yeah, so, it's kind of interesting if you go back over the, more or less 100 years history, century. A lot of people have judged Blackpool who didn't actually win it or even compete in Blackpool. But be that as it may, going back to our system, nobody chooses the names except the member country after they've duly received an invitation. And there's another rule, for example, that those countries have to be rotated. I think it's 30% per annum.
So the how many are selected? 10, 20?
I think it's normally 11 for a world championship.
So there are 11 judges.
Yeah.
One from each country.
One from each country.
And the country list is from 60.
Yes.
Or so. So you wouldn't have the same country 2 years in a row.
Well, you do sometimes have. There used to be a rule, actually, Kaika. I think they deleted it because I haven't been competition dance chairman for, 15, 16 years. So I don't deal with it anymore. But they used to have a rule, which I think you can understand the logic of, that the top 3 countries from the previous year's World Championship, the top 3 couples, the countries that they represent should be on the next year's panel. But I think they got rid of that. However, I believe it's mostly custom and practice that happens.
They switch out the countries.
More or less, yeah.
I see.
So they have to vary them by about 30% per year. And that's how those judges are selected. They're selected through democratic process, if you like,
Something
and
like that.
nobody has their finger on the power of any of it.
Right. Well, you'd have to have a finger on a lot of things
Well,
to manage that, but
well,
that
you'd have
much
to
right.
be omnipotent, wouldn't you? So,
Yeah.
so that doesn't happen. When it comes to the amateur league, it's different because, for example, as we used to run in Disney, we run in Assen. That's made up from all the different organizers. There's Fred and his family. There's Sammy and Barbara. There's Heidi and myself, and a lot of us. And mostly we have people who have been top dancers themselves.
Mhm.
Certainly when it comes to the evening, when we started out, I think about 14 years ago now, 13 years ago, we had a strict rule that only people who had won the world championship or been a finalist in Blackpool would ever be used. And then what happens is you very quickly exhaust that list. And
Right.
so you have to broaden the criteria
Right.
a little bit as it goes on.
Have you ever had anyone that's, because you've been running this for
About 13, 14
13
years.
years. Really, in the last 10 years is when it really picked up steam, though, right?
Well, I can tell you exactly when it happened. 2008. So we're on our 14th year,
That was when the
minus COVID.
right.
And of course, that was just after the crash.
So any at that point, you had the IDSF sort of split, really
Yeah.
picking up its own steam. WDSF at that point, professional division,
Yeah.
etc.
Uh-huh.
And I imagine at the time from people I've talked to that were sort of against the Blackpool stance, or were like say more on this newer WDO organization. They actually said at that time they were very happy that the amateur league sort of had existed, or there was a place to go.
Yeah.
And so I imagine you must have had some of those people even now that are pretty much having a stance against Blackpool.
Yeah.
But part of your judging panel and in support of the competition at that point?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Many of them. As a matter of fact, one person that you did an interview with, just to give you one example, because we spoke about it, Lena James. Lena came to me, I can't remember exactly, Kaika, so give me some tolerance. She came to me maybe 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 4, 5, 6. And she said to me, Donnie, I'd like to come back into the judging scene. I think she and Colin had been more on the WDSF side, or Lena had, in Denmark. And she wanted to come over, and so she came and judged at the Dutch Open, I think, that year, and she did some teaching and some lecturing. We helped her to do it. And there are a lot of those people. Arunas Bazookas danced Assen, took part in the dance camp before it and taught, and then did the competition.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.